Oh hi! I was just watching the launch of a space flight built by the Virgin Galactic. Now, what is this Virgin Galactic? Virgin Galactic is an American space flight company founded in 2004. Did you know that space flights can take us into outer space? Yes, they can. Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin, Elon Musk's SpaceX are popular space flight companies working on the same mission. Can you even imagine how wonderful it would be to travel into space and explore what's beyond Earth? I believe it would be incredible. I've always wanted to go to space, and I think you might have had a similar wish too, right? Hey, why don't we create a space-themed game and cherish our love for space? Our game would be set in a space background and will have two characters, the space hero and the enemy troops. So, let's take a glimpse of the game. We have an intro screen here. Click on Start and see the enemy troops are trying to destroy the space hero, and the space hero is trying to defend itself by shooting bullets at them. If the enemy spaceship and the space hero touch each other, it's game over. We should help the space hero to defend itself from the attack of the enemy troop. Are you eager to start creating space wars? But before that, keep this in mind. Space is a term wrapped with magic, mystery and adventure. So our game is going to be just like that. Come on, let's step into the magic. So today, we will learn to set a background and also to set the two central characters of our game, the space hero and the enemy spaceship. Then we'll learn to animate the background and the two sprites. In addition to it, we'll add movements to the two sprites. The enemy spaceship should move from the top to the bottom continuously, and the space hero should move to the right and left when we click on the right and left arrow key. So, shall we start? For that, first you have to open code.org. Click on Create and choose Game Lab. Let's start the project by giving it a name. Above the game screen, click on Rename. Then remove Untitled Project and change the name to SpaceWar. Click on Save. And yes, the name is now changed. Let's continue. Now we have to choose a background that can reflect the magic, the mystery and the adventure of our space game. So let's select a space background. To add a background, click on Animation. And now you can see the Animations tab. Click on the plus sign to your left. And you can see a lot of stock sprites along with two options, Draw Your Own and Upload Image. Click on the Draw Your Own option. Since we need an aesthetic space background, let's select one from the internet. Open a new tab and type in Galaxy Animation Images in the search bar. Click on Search. Click on View All Images and wow, there are so many amazing backgrounds here. Look at this one. This has all the elements of magic, mystery and adventure that we were looking for, right? Let's select it. Click on the image, right-click and then choose the Copy Image option. Now come back to the Code.org tab. To add the image to the Animation tab, click on the Move tool. Using the Ctrl-V option, paste the background onto the screen. Here, we can set the resolution according to our needs. We also have an option to resize the background. Click on Import, then on OK. Close the pop-up and ta-da! The background is now on the screen. To find the background easily while coding, rename the background to Space Background. Now it's time to introduce the background to the game screen. For that, click on Code. For introducing the background to the game screen, we have to choose Sprites from the toolbox. Take the variable sprite block and attach it to the workspace. Rename sprite to background. Now it's time for real fun. Let's animate the background. For that, take the sprite.setAnimation block and attach it below the variable background block. Rename sprite to background on the left, and on the right, click on the drop down and choose the option Space Background. Now go to World, take the Draw Sprites block and attach it inside the function Draw block. To see the magic, click on Run. Yes, the background is now on the screen. Now that we have the background, let's bring in the characters. What is a hero without a villain? So how about adding the villain first? And don't worry, the hero will join us later with his heroic entry. Let's go. To add the enemy spaceship, click on Animations. And now you can see the Animation tab. Click on the plus sign to the left. Since we need a spaceship, click on Vehicles. And you can see a lot of vehicles here. Well, let's look for a spaceship. Here it is. We can choose this green spaceship as the enemy ship. Rename the sprite to enemy ship. Now it's time to introduce the enemy spaceship to the game screen. For that, click on Code. From Sprites, take the variable sprite block and attach it below the background.setAnimation block. Rename the sprite to enemy ship. Now take the sprite.setAnimation block and attach it below the variable enemy ship block. On the left side, rename the sprite to enemy ship. And on the right side, click on the drop down and choose enemy ship. Click on Run. And yes, we can see the enemy ship on the game screen. Something looks odd about the enemy spaceship, right? The enemy ship looks too big for the background. So let's adjust the enemy ship's size. For that, go to Sprites. Take the sprite.scale block and attach it below the enemy ship.setAnimation block. Rename the sprite to enemy ship and give the value on the right as 0.7. Click on Run. And yes, the size of the enemy ship is now perfect. As you can see, the spaceship is on the center of the game screen, and its position can be seen on the variable enemy ship block, x equals 200 and y equals 200. Let's keep it on the top so that the spaceships would come from the top and then attack the space hero. So let's change enemy spaceship's position. Since we have to move the spaceship towards the top, we have to change its y coordinate in the variable enemy ship block. So change the y value in the variable enemy ship block to 50. Click on Reset. Run the code. And yes, the enemy ship is now in the position as we want. Oh, the villain is all set. But where is the hero? Yes, it's time for the heroic entry of our hero spaceship. Are you excited? Come on, let's introduce him. For that, click on Animations. And you can now see the Animation tab. Just like we did for the enemy spaceship, click on the plus sign to your left and choose Vehicles from the stock sprites. Let's choose this blue spaceship. Click on it. And now it's on the animation tab. Rename the sprite to Space Hero. You become a hero when you learn to stand up for yourself. Our space hero should stand up for himself when the enemy spaceship attacks. In this game, the space hero will be shooting bullets to destroy the enemies. So it will be better if it's upside down. So let's rotate this spaceship. To rotate the sprite, we have an option on the right called counterclockwise rotation. Click on it. And the spaceship has turned once. Once again, let's click on it. And yes, the spaceship is in the right position. Now we need to add the spaceship to the game screen. For that, click on Code and you know what to do. So from Sprites, take the variable sprite block and attach it below the enemyship.scale block. Rename the sprite to Space Hero. Now take the sprite.setAnimation block and attach it below the variable Space Hero block. On the left side, rename the sprite to Space Hero. And on the right side, click on the drop down and choose Space Hero. Click on Run. And yes, the Space Hero is now on the screen. The Space Hero looks large when compared to the enemy ship, right? Let's resize it. For that, take the sprite.scale block and attach it below the Space Hero.setAnimation block. Rename the sprite to Space Hero and add the value on the right as 0.7. The enemy ship would come from the top to attack the Space Hero. So, why don't we place the Space Hero on the ground? At the bottom of the game screen, the value of y is 400. So to bring the sprite towards the bottom, change the y value in the variable Space Hero block to 350. Click on Run. And the Space Hero has reduced in size and is on the ground. You might have seen aeroplanes at night. Have you ever noticed the blinking lights on aeroplanes at night? How beautiful is it? Well, why don't we add similar lights to the spaceships in our game? For that, we have to add some animations to the two spaceships. Come back to animations and let's animate our Space Hero first. Choose the Space Hero and click on the Paint Bucket tool. Click on the color palette and you can add any color available to make the spaceship look awesome. I think red would look great. So choose the color red. Let's add the color on the outer sides of the spaceship. Now click on the color palette. Choose the color black. And let's add the color in the insides. Are you ready to learn to add the blinking lights? Come on. On the bottom right corner of the sprite, we can see a duplicate this frame option, and when you click on it, the frame is duplicated. Now take the Paint Bucket tool and we can add orange color on the two sides of the Space Hero in the place of black. Click on the color palette, choose the color orange and click on the center portion of the spaceship. These two frames will be shown one after the other, giving us an effect of the blinking lights. Come back to code. Click on Run. And look at that. The Space Hero looks like its headlights are blinking. Are you excited to animate the enemy spaceship? Click on Animations. And come back to the Animation tab. Click on the enemy spaceship. Click on the Paint Bucket tool. And then on the color palette. Choose a light green color and add the color to the two sides of the spaceship. Now from the color palette, take the black color and add it on the two sides. Click on Duplicate this frame and then click on the color palette. Let's add the red color on the two sides of the spaceship in the place of black. You can see the animation on the left side, but let's take a closer view. Come back to code, click on run, and yes, the space hero and the enemy ship looks just the way we want them to be. Now we have properly aligned the hero and the villain and also added some animations to it. But the space hero is just standing still and not moving. The space hero should be able to move each time it comes face to face with the enemy spaceship. The space hero should move when we click on the right and left arrow key. If we click on the left arrow key, then the space hero should move to the left. For that, go to Controls, take the if conditional statement and attach it inside the function draw block. Now we have to click on the left arrow key for the space hero to move. So go to World, take the key down block and attach it inside the if conditional statement. Now click on the drop down and choose the option left. The space hero has to move to the left and right, that is in the x-axis. For that, go to Sprites, take the sprite.x block and attach it inside the if conditional statement. Rename the sprite to Space Hero. When we move left of the x-axis, the x value keeps on decreasing. So each time you click on the left arrow key, the position of the space hero, that is the x coordinate value, should decrease. For that, go to Math, take the minus operator and attach it to the second blank of the space hero.x block. Now go to Sprites, take a sprite.x block and attach it in the first blank of the minus operator. Rename the sprite to Space Hero in the first blank and 5 in the second blank. Click on Run, press the left arrow key, and yes, the Space Hero is moving to the left. Similarly, if we click on the right arrow key, the sprite must move to the right. So go to Controls, take the if conditional statement and attach it inside the function draw block. Now go to World, take the key down block and attach it inside the if conditional statement. Click on the drop down and choose right. To make the sprite move towards the right, go to Sprites, take the sprite.x block and attach it inside the if conditional statement. Rename the sprite to Space Hero. Towards the right, the value of x increases, so we can give a plus sign. Go to Math, take the plus operator and attach it on the right side of the space hero.x block. Now go to Sprites, take the sprite.x block and attach it inside the first blank of the plus operator. Rename the sprite to Space Hero and on the second blank, enter the value 5. Run the code and yay, the Space Hero is moving to the left and right, and that's how the hero escapes from the enemy. But why should the hero escape if the enemy is idle? Now that we have taught the Space Hero to escape, let's add movements to the enemy spaceship so it attacks the Space Hero. The enemy spaceship should come from the top to attack the Space Hero. They should be moving continuously from the top to the bottom. For that, go to Sprites, take the sprite.velocity_y block and attach it inside the function draw block. Rename the sprite to Enemy Ship. The enemy spaceship should move from the top to bottom. As you know, the value of y increases as we move from the top to the bottom. Since the value is increasing, we can give a positive sign for the velocity. So give the value on the right as 5. Click on Run. And yes, the spaceship is moving. But it's only moving once. We want the spaceship to move continuously from the top to the bottom. If the enemy spaceship passes the bottom side, then it should appear from the top. That is, when the Y value of the enemy ship becomes greater than 400, the spaceship should appear from the extreme top. For that, choose Controls from the toolbox. Take the if conditional statement and attach it inside the function draw block. Now go to Math. Take the greater than sign and attach it inside the if conditional statement. Choose Sprites from the toolbox. Take the sprite.y block and attach it on the left side of the greater than block. Rename the sprite to enemy ship and keep the value on the right as 400. Now take another sprite.y block and attach it inside the if conditional statement. Rename the sprite to enemy ship and place the value on the right as 0. Click on Run. And yes, the enemy ship is moving continuously. The enemy spaceship is coming to get the space hero, and the space hero can escape by moving to the right or left. Now we have the enemy ship coming, and we also know that the space hero can escape by moving to the left or right using the arrow keys. But once it reaches the edge, it moves further. So let's make the space hero bounce once it reaches the edges. For that, first go to Sprites, take the Create Edge Sprites block and attach it in the workspace. Now go to Sprites, take the sprite.bounce target block and attach it below the if conditional statement. Rename the sprite to Space Hero and the target to Edges. Click on Run, and yes, the enemy spaceship is coming for the Space Hero and he can escape by moving to the left and right, but when it hits on the edges, it bounces back. So today, we took inspiration from our love for space to create a game called Space Wars. We started by adding a background from the stock sprites and added it to the game screen using code. Then, we added the two main characters of the game, the space hero and the enemy spaceship. We chose a blue spaceship for the hero and a green spaceship for the villain from stock sprites. We proceeded to add animations to the background and the main sprites using the Paint All Pixels of the same color tool. Then we made the two spaceships move. The enemy spaceship would move continuously in the y-axis and the space hero would move as we click on the left and right arrow keys. With that, we have come to the end of the first session. Did you like the first session of Space Wars game? Well, this is just a start. We'll be taking the game to another level in the upcoming sessions. In the next session, we'll learn about a new loop called the for loop, and we'll also make the enemy spaceship into an enemy space troop. I know you can't wait for the next session. Don't forget to practice this on your own and watch this video again if you have any doubts. I'll see you in the next session. Until then, bye!